next attribute towards a great personality is thoughts. Our thoughts play a major role in defining what sort of person we are. What are thoughts? Thoughts are arrangement of ideas. Our thinking matters a lot because it shows or it exhibits what sort of personality we are. Courageous thoughts are very important. It is not that easy to make courageous, to make courageous decisions. It's very important or it is necessary to think courageously because courageous thoughts always lead to success. Courageous thoughts lead to success. It is not that easy, yet, if we are able to think courageously, we are on the right track and success is not very far. Let me give you an example. Examine or look around your room and look for all the things or objects which are in yellow color. All right. So now that you have observed all the materials or all the objects that are in yellow around you, close your eyes now. You have examined all the objects in your room and you know the objects that are in yellow. Since you have examined all the objects, let me ask you a question. Tell me the objects that were in blue. How many of you all were able to answer? Or how many answers were you able to give? Were you able to cover all the objects that were in blue in your room? Now tell me, what is the reason? Before closing your eyes, you had examined the whole room. The entire room you were able to examine. But why is that it did not get registered? Why is that the objects which were in blue did not get registered? Because you were only looking for objects which were in yellow. Now that is the problem with each and everybody. We have only one perspective towards, we have only one approach towards our problem. There are various aspects. There are so many other ways to approach each and every problem. But the problem with us is that we stick to one particular aspect and we think we are right always. And because of this, we tend to forget or we tend to ignore all the other aspects that are available, which might be even more effective. So it is very important for a person to think on all aspects, all possible aspects. A person with good thinking will always have, all possible aspects, will not stick to one particular aspect. And that person should also be ready to, mold himself or herself. Because a person who ought to be successful should be a good learner. People with positive thoughts need to be good learners. Otherwise, you start thinking that you are right always. And that is what will happen, where you end up in looking or approaching a problem at one particular aspect. Make notes or note points. For example, if you have an issue or any problem, and you are supposed to arrive on a conclusion, what can you do? See, as I said, again, it is very important to look at, approach the problem in all possible aspects. So what we can do is note down the points. Start approaching the problem in different aspects, and under every aspect, you start noting down the points. It is very important, from this particular aspect, what are the pros and cons? And next aspect, what are the pros and cons? So it is very important to make a note of all the pros and cons so that finally you're able to arrive at a proper conclusion. life gets molded. An individual's life gets molded with respect to his or her thoughts. If you have good thoughts, your life gets molded in a better way. If you have bad thoughts, you know what will happen. So your thoughts matter a lot when it comes to molding of your life. Bad thoughts decrease capacity. Now, each of us might be capable in our own ways. When you start having negative thoughts or bad thoughts, your capability or your capacity level comes down. It affects you as an individual. So, it is very important to always have a positive thought because negative thoughts will bring down your capability, it will lower your morale. Good thoughts have the power to change your life. You are responsible of how you want your life to be. I think we have discussed about this enough in previous sessions. So it is up to you to decide or to, conclude as to how you want your life to be, or you are the one who will decide how you want to lead your life. Okay? So when you have good thoughts, it completely changes your lifestyle. Has the power to change anything and everything when you have good lifestyle. Positive thoughts also bring in fortune. When you start thinking positively, you start bringing in fortune in your life. Let me give you another short example. Imagine, for example, you want to lose weight. Now, there are various ways, okay, following a strict diet, yoga, gymming, or regular walking, or so many other ways. Now, what you can do is you can decide on all the various methods in which you can reduce weight. And after that, you will choose the best one which would be suitable for you. Now, now that you have narrowed down to what you're going to do, maybe it is going to go hit the gym, or maybe it's about going for a Zumba class, or maybe you want to follow a strict diet, whatever it is. After you have decided on what you want to do, now you start thinking positive. Just start thinking how you would feel if you start losing weight. Just start thinking how your favorite dresses would start fitting you when you start losing weight. So such positive thoughts are inspirations which will drive you towards achieving your goal. So bring a lot of fortune. So it's highly important to have positive thoughts, to think in a positive way to achieve your goal. Your thoughts will decide your success and your failure. If you want to be a successful person, it is your thought which is a deciding factor. If it's going to be failure, again, it's your thought which is a deciding factor. So you will decide whether you are going to be a successful person or a person of failure. So we should understand that our thoughts matter the most here. Let me give you an example of Napoleon Hill. Not example, a famous quote that Napoleon Hill says. He says that what mind conceives and believes is what mind can achieve. I repeat, what mind conceives and believes is what mind can achieve. So, what you think of, what you believe is what you would be able to achieve. So, it is very important to think of or to believe the right thing so that you're able to achieve it. See, unsuccessful people are people with negative thoughts always. You will have, such people are people with negative vibration. They are not successful people, they are not positive people. Such people cannot be an inspiration. Now, such people will always have a wickedness. You might be able to notice when you look at them. When you have negative people around you, they start influencing your life in the wrong way. See, even if you are very active, if you are so positive, if you want to keep, if you want to work towards achieving your goal, such people will start demotivating you. Having negative people, people with negative vibration around you, will not help you reach your goal. So it is very important for us to always stay away from negative people. You need to differentiate between, a positive person and a negative person. And if you know this, if you know a person with negative thoughts, it is always advisable to maintain your distance with that person. Because people with negative thoughts, or people with negative thoughts, are always unsuccessful, and unsuccessful people will definitely be not be able to contribute to your success or for you to reach your goal. Ancient philosophers say that having positive thoughts will lead to a cycle of innovation. It will start making a person an innovative person. So it is again very important to be a positive person in order to be an innovative person. Okay, let me give an example of Sir Newsec Highton, the well-known famous scientist. He said once, when he was questioned about his researches, how he was able to, go ahead with so many researches. And you know what Sir Isaac Newton said? He said, whenever I work on my projects, I always think and meditate about them. So you see, so much of, he's so obsessed with his projects. Whatever he does, he's only completely dedicated towards it. He only thinks of that. He meditates of that. So when you start thinking about it and when you start meditating about it, automatically you become a positive person, because automatically you will start reaching your goal. You will start finding various ways or various new methods to reach your goal. And that's what I said innovation is all about. If you're not able to succeed in one particular way, you'll start thinking about another way. So you have a lot of options, and that's why positive thoughts are always, they lead to a cycle of innovation. Let me quickly take you through these points of having positive thoughts, or having, good thoughts, how important good thoughts are. Courageous thoughts always give us success. Now, you would have heard a lot of stories of people, of patients who had come across various deadly diseases. It's only because of their grit and determination, or because of their, the thought, because they think that they would be able to survive. There are so many people who had been able to battle death. There are so many people who had been able to come out of various dreadful diseases. There are so many people who are able to prolong or extend their life stay because of, their strong grit and determination. So our thoughts are very important to make a successful person, especially when your thoughts are courageous. It's very important to be courageous in thoughts. You have to approach a problem from all aspects. When you are in, any crisis, you need to analyze or come down to a solution for any problem. Make sure you put them in notes. Approach it in all aspects. Under every aspect, you can, make notes. Making note of all the pros and cons, so that you will be able to choose the right one. Understand that one's life gets molded the way the person thinks. It decreases, bad habit decreases the capacity of a person, and good habit changes the lifestyle of a person. At any point of time, your life will completely change when you start thinking good. It brings fortune, and one's thoughts will decide one's success or failure. You are a successful person or a person of failure, unsuccessful person, completely depends upon your thoughts. And last but not the least is innovation. When you start thinking positively, when you have good thoughts, automatically it leads to a cycle of innovations. And this is not told or said by me, it is said by all ancient philosophers, people who had been successful, who had been the best, who had already seen success, who had been great personalities. They all say that when you have good thoughts, it leads to a cycle of innovation. And when you have cycle of innovation, that is where you become a successful person, and it makes you a person with great personality.